I'd like to talk about like some of the more common problems you're going to run into. The most common problem is that when people have water coming from either the walls or from where the wall meets the floor. The fix for that is typically a pressure relief system, or it's generally known as a French drain. So what we do is we break out the perimeter of the basement. We install a geotextile fabric to block any mud or anything from getting in. Then we use a 4-inch PVC pipe that's set on top of it. It's surrounded by stone, that's 3/4 inch clean stone, and then a drainage board is run over the top and up the wall, and then everything's reconcreted and it's all run into a sump pump basin. What that does is that because the typical area where it comes in is right at where that wall meets the floor, and the reason for that is your wall comes down, it meets a footing, and then the floor is poured up to that, and that's where all three pieces join. But that's also the lowest area on the wall, so the pressure there is the highest. So it builds up. So instead of building up, it goes underground into our system, gets commuted into a sump pump basin, and then from there it's pumped out of the house. So that's a lot more practical than digging out all the way down on the outside, down to the footing, redoing all the walls, and then doing a similar pressure relief system on the exterior, which we do, but it's really only for specific cases. Then the next is a lot of people will see water coming in through the walls. Now, there's different types of walls. There's poured concrete walls. If you have a crack in a poured concrete wall, you can use it in a urethane injection to seal it up. That's also a guaranteed fix. And then there's stone walls. Stone walls usually need poraging, which is where we scrape down all the loose surface. We put a vapor barrier up, we attach wire lath over that, and then we put 2 coats of mortar over that and finish it off. Typically where the water comes in is right at where your wall meets your floor, because if you have a stone wall, it comes up underneath the wall and pushes out at where the concrete edge meets it, because they're 2 separate pieces, and water obviously can squeeze through really small areas. So even if you can't see it, that's typically because it's under a lot of pressure. It takes a tremendous amount of pressure for water to force its way into a foundation. So any little crack or crevice, it can typically find its way through. Now, with if you have cinder block walls or you have poured concrete walls, then where it usually comes in is right at where the wall meets the footing, and then it pushes up and comes in through where the wall meets the floor. Then, but if it is coming in through the walls, something you should probably look for is that you'll typically see brown stains or efflorescence on the wall. Efflorescence is a white powdery substance that it leaches out of concrete when it's exposed to moisture. So if you're seeing any of that, you're probably you have water penetrating the foundation. Now, there are different fixes for it. For instance, if you have a poured concrete wall and there's a crack in it, as opposed to getting a pressure relief system or a French drain, you would the first thing I would suggest is doing an injection crack repair, which is a urethane injection crack repair, which is where we put ports on the wall, we coat it with a urethane coating, and then we inject foam, and the foam actually penetrates all the way through the wall, fills all the voids in the soil, and then it hardens up. And that's good for 15 years at least. Sometimes, it could be good forever.